Hi, everybody. I'm Steve here with David Wright. David is a personal trainer at Parkway Athletic Club in Carson City, Nevada. And we're going to talk about protein. Can you eat too much of it? There's a lot of information out there about protein and a lot of opinions. So thanks for being with us, David.
Thanks for having me, Steve.
All right. So if you guys are interested in our weight loss program, there's a QR code. You can either scan that or call that number. There's also hopefully is a description or a link in the description where you can find out more about our weight loss program, how it works, and how you can lose weight. So, David, protein. You're a physique competitor, a bodybuilder. I've done that also. I'm also in my 60s, and my view is protein is the first macro you need to pay attention to, and the first one that you need to get enough of. You can do it if you pay attention to it. But if you don't pay attention to your protein intake, you are probably not going to get enough, especially if you're older. So, and we want to talk about, can you eat too much of it? Maybe some people can, it's going to blow out your kidneys. Well, ask your doctor about that. That's probably not going to happen. Your first thoughts?
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think one of the things in talking to my clients, whether it's clients interested in, nutrition and things like that, or just plain personal training clients, is what do they eat? How much do they eat? And that kind of thing. And one of the things I always stress is what's your protein intake? So that's why I tell them, even in our introductory sessions, when we first meet each other, sit down and discuss kind of their goals and everything is, tell me what you eat. And so I can gauge really well from that an idea in my own head as a trainer and nutrition coach, what kind of amounts of protein or lack thereof that a person has. So then I can have that discussion because in reality, most people might say, well, I have a protein shake or I have eggs in the morning or I have this, that, and the other thing. And then they don't really think about it. The problem is that when we don't think about it, we don't make it a priority to have enough protein. And sometimes I'll look and people will have, let's say they're a 180-pound man and they eat maybe 100 grams of protein. Yes, that much. That's a lot for some people. And they're saying, well, I'm not, I've been coming to the gym for a while, or I stopped going to the gym because I wasn't really making progress, or I'm feeling tired. All these different things that, these different things that people feel. One of my first things when I find out how much protein they aren't eating is let's address that first. Because if you try to address everything at once, it's a little overwhelming for people. It's like, okay, let's focus on your protein intake because that's not going to be nearly enough for depending on each person. Are they an athlete? Are they, somebody kind of trying to make a lifestyle change? What are you doing? What's your goal? But even if you're not in here trying to be a bodybuilder or physique competitor or an athlete, you're just a everyday person coming in here to be healthy. Well, you're doing the workout part or cardio or both, which is great. But you got to have the other part too, which is protein in your diet. I mean, you need other things, but it's the easiest to focus on. Let's make sure you're getting enough protein to maintain and or build those muscles so you get those amino acids from those proteins that you need for so many different functions of the body. In terms of can you eat too much protein? I mean, you could. A lot of times it's very rare that people will ever get to the point where, you hear about kidney function disruption, so kidney failures and all sorts of complications people can have from eating too much protein. The amount of protein that you would have to eat, you know, to even remotely come close to that and for an over, extended period of time, it's not going to happen. I mean, don't get me wrong, it could, depending on who you are and if you have medical issues already and that kind of thing. I mean, everybody's a little bit different, but when people say too much protein is going to harm you, they've probably seen some different myths out there and things like that. So absent a medical condition, with kidneys, etc., it's very, very unlikely unless you are, and I'm just going to be a little bit crazy here, but unless you're literally shoveling protein into your mouth all day long, almost, constantly eating, steaks and eggs and all these different, you could eat all day long pretty much, and you'd be too full to consume too much protein. because protein, will keep you full. So I just find it interesting when people say you can eat too much, because that's a very, very rare. It's really the opposite that's true. Most people don't eat nearly enough for what, even their basic tasks that they need to do, and energy and all the, amino acids that they need. So I would say focus more on, um, just getting enough protein, and don't worry about getting too much.
Yeah. And especially I'm in my 60s and I'm not frail, but you see a lot of people that start in their 50s, 60s, 70s, they start to get frail. They start to get kind of bony up here and round in the middle, and they're losing lean body mass. Two reasons: they're not lifting weights, they're not using their body, and they're not getting enough protein. Use the example I use all the time. If you ate 10 eggs and a half a pound of lean ground beef, which is going to be higher in protein, if you ate that much, you'd have 92 grams of protein. That's not enough. That's not enough. So good luck getting 200 grams of protein. I know you do it at certain times of your diet, but you got to really pay attention to get 200 grams of protein in, don't you?
Absolutely. Yeah.
It has to be your focus. It has to be your focus to get 200 grams of protein in. So if you doubled what I just said, 20 eggs and a pound of lean ground beef, now you're at what, 184 grams of protein? That's pretty good, but who can eat that much food?
Not most people, I'll tell you that.
Right. So you guys and try it. Talk to your doctor, talk to your nutritionist, call us, set up a weight loss program with us, and we'll help you with this. So, but I would just suggest trying it. Try lifting weights or doing, body squats or something, moving your body, little light dumbbells, and moving your body, and make sure you get enough protein and see what happens. Because even in your 60s, 70s, or maybe older, you can still put on lean body mass. I've put on, probably in the last 3 to 4 years, 5 years maybe, I've put on about 6 pounds of muscle. And that's not easy because I've always done this all my life. Now, I've had more muscle than I do now, so it's been this, but I've done really well in the last 5 years or so to maintain and even put some lean body mass on. So it is possible even for experienced lifters. So try it. Bump up your protein, get good, clean protein, whole foods, and start lifting weights. Go to the gym, find a personal trainer, get a video online that shows you how to work out at home. You can all do it and see what happens. Leave a comment in the section, leave a comment in here in the comment section after you do that, because I know it's going to be positive. So,
Well,
David, if people want to follow you, they want to know more about your competing and what you're doing on social media, how do they do that?
yeah, they can follow me on Instagram at davidwright_fitness and at Wright Fitness Training. Also on Instagram for the personal training piece.
All right, if you guys like to know what happens in health clubs, gyms, how to get fit, subscribe to the channel. We do interviews with nutritionists, with doctors, and with personal trainers. So subscribe to the channel if that's something that you're trying to do, is get healthier. And David, thanks for being with us. We'll talk to you next time.
Thanks, Steve.